Hello, today is Monday, October 23rd. To my right is my co-host, Thomas Frey, sworn in as a lawyer. Sworn in, is that the correct term?
That is correct.
Last week, so congratulations. Producer Rue down in Florida enjoying his last days of freedom on a golf trip before he starts his new job. Also very happy for him. Congrats, Producer Rue. I'm Adam Hartog, and this is episode 27 of the Breaks Down podcast, part of the 528 Multimedia Network. We have a fun show today. We're going to talk about college football, a brief update on some things that happen in the NBA and the MLB. We're going to do our NFL talk back to the usual way we lay that out. We're going to do awards, and then we're going to do our bold predictions of the year.
Of the week.
Let's go. All right, recording this just before 8 p.m. on Monday, October 23rd. The 49ers and the Vikings are about to kick off in what should be a good game. But let's start things off with the recent NBA news. I guess Giannis has re-signed a 3-year extension with the Bucks for $185 million.
Yeah, there's a player option at the end of that. Gives him a little bit more flexibility, but it seems like he probably wants to at least lock himself in for the next 2 years of Dame's contract. I think there's 3 remaining, or maybe even 4 years left on that one, but it seems like he's tying himself to Dame for a little bit longer than a lot would have thought.
So it's a 2-1?
Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah, and we were kind of right about that. We had mentioned that there was a good chance that he had told the Bucks, hey, if you make this move, because we're sure that they probably told him about the Dame trade in advance, that he would confirm his commitment by signing an extension there.
Reaffirm his commitment,
yes,
if you will.
Yes, I will.
But yeah, we were pretty spot on there. I wasn't sure if they were literal, like, hey, make this deal and I'll stay, or if it was just if you make this deal, I'm a lot more likely to stay. But he's staying, and I'm sure Bucks fans are thrilled. Any other teams fans who thought they had a chance at getting him, less so.
And it means that their window is guaranteed to be more than 1 year. I guess you can't really say guaranteed with title windows, but not from one of those guys leaving.
Yeah, expected to be more than 1 year.
And then also the Phillies currently down 5-1 in Game 6 to the Diamondbacks, so it looks like there's going to be a Game 7 there. I will say I am a sucker for fans singing songs, and Philly does that every postseason, and it's awesome, and it makes them hard not to root for, in my book.
I would have no problem with the Phillies had I not gone to school in New Jersey, and I just was surrounded by so many Philadelphia fans. It just was a lot. Like, I'm sure you had no ill will towards Boston. I mean, maybe the Red Sox, but like the Patriots, you had no reason to dislike the Patriots, but being surrounded by Boston fans at your school, I'm sure it made you dislike them a lot more.
It got annoying at times. My school was less like the traditional what you think of a Boston sports fan than places like BC and Northeastern. So it wasn't as in your face, but it was. I mean, they were rattling off championships, so it was hard not to see it everywhere.
To put it into perspective, I was rooting very hard for the Patriots over the Eagles, and that has to do with not only being a Giants fan, and just because of who I was with.
Yeah, I mean, why would a Giants fan dislike the Patriots? They don't lose to them in the playoffs.
If anything, I like the Patriots, and that's why I like Brady so much. I have no reason to dislike him.
I was quietly rooting for the Eagles because I was watching at least the first half at a bar, and I was not about to be openly rooting for Philadelphia there.
Yeah, very fair. I was in the safety of my own home.
Yeah, that would have changed things. All right, would you like to talk about the college football?
I would.
Cool. So, big noon, Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt on the call in the Horseshoe, where the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes hosted and beat number 7 Penn State 20-12. And Ohio State has become exactly who Lou Holtz said they could not be, which is kind of hysterical and a fun turn of events.
Really funny just because of how much of a storyline that was at the time, you know?
Yeah.
But I won some money on this game. I took Ohio State in the under.
Nice.
So that was exciting.
I had Penn State.
Oh.
Yeah. Happens.
Yeah.
I usually don't bet games like this because I just want to enjoy them, and I regret not doing that.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to watch all of it, so for some reason I like betting games that I'm not going to be able to watch.
Because you don't have to just sit there and stress over it.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't bet as much as I used to because I am so overcome with joy just being able to experience these games that I don't need the additional, like, stimulus that I used to.
It's like the logic behind people not betting their own teams. That doesn't really bother me so much because I'm going to be distraught if they lose either way. So the extra $5 that I'm losing on them doesn't matter, and the extra money that I win is just cherry on top. That's my logic behind it.
I had a brief period in college where I would just look, like, before I went to sleep, I would check the late NBA games, and if any of them, if a team was down by, let's say, like 15 or more, with like more than halfway through the third quarter still remaining, I would just take them money line, go to sleep, and I would say I probably made like, I certainly hit enough for like a couple weeks to make it worth doing, and then it stopped.
If a good team is down, as long as there's enough time left in the game, it's almost always a smart bet.
In the NBA, yeah, there's usually one team a night that will come back from a big deficit.
Yeah. I mean, and the odds are usually better than they should be in games
Way
like
better.
That. So,
yeah,
it's just smart money.
I will say the skeptic in me wonders if Lou Holtz was a plant.
I don't know if Lou Holtz would even know what a plant is. Someone could have been feeding him that info, though. He's just repeating it like a parrot.
He just heard it from somebody that was speaking into his ear.
It's very possible.
I mean, and you saying how big of a story it was. Like, this is season-long bulletin board material that this team was given. The Ohio State. College football coaches dream of bulletin board material opportunities like this.
So, was Lou Holtz an unwilling plant? Or an unknowing plant?
I certainly think he would have, yes, definitely, because this happened before the Notre Dame game.
Exactly. Because he wouldn't have done this to intentionally sabotage Notre Dame.
No,
so
let's trick this old man into giving our team
this is elder
fodder.
abuse. They're just taking advantage of him.
It's certainly questionable ethical behavior if this is what happened.
Assuming this is what happened, because it's most likely that it did.
Yes, just let me know if we say anything that's accusatory that we need to walk back.
Yeah, no, he was unwilling, didn't know about it at the time, was just being fed bad info, propaganda.
Both of these defenses are really good. We knew that. They were both ranked in the top 10 points per game coming into this. Both quarterbacks really struggled, but the difference here is that one threw to Marvin Harrison Jr., which helps a ton.
How high is too high for him to go in the draft? 2?
No, 1 probably.
Okay. When was the last time a wide receiver went in the top 2? Keyshawn Johnson's the only one I can think of, but I'm sure there must have been. He's the only one I can think of, but there must have been one since.
I think Megatron was 07. He went second overall.
Okay, which checks out.
That's the most recent one that comes to mind.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but he's unreal.
But he's on that list of those kind of prospects coming out of college. He had 11 catches for 162 yards and a touchdown. Kyle McCord, the Ohio State quarterback, had 22 completions for 286 yards and a touchdown. So half of his completions and more than half of his yards and the touchdown went to Marvin Harrison Jr. Drew Aller really struggled in this one, 18 for 42 for 191 yards and a garbage time touchdown. I honestly don't know how good he is because I've seen his high school tape. He seems awesome. Mm-hmm. Everyone is telling me he's awesome. He's looked really good at times. But either he's not good against good teams or that offense is a jumbled mess that has never had a quarterback this good and has no idea how to use him.
What year is he?
He's a true sophomore.
Okay, so he's still got another year to figure it out. He could still be really good. That's definitely a very ugly stat line, and it definitely raises eyebrows, especially in a huge game like that, looking that bad, but he's been good otherwise, and like you said, the tape seems to favor him, so I guess time will tell, but
He did look shook, which is never good.
no. Usually red flag.
Kind of a fun story here that I don't remember if I said on last week's podcast. He was the best quarterback in Ohio State high school history, which is a good, fertile recruiting ground. Ohio State had Quinn Ewers at the time, so they didn't pursue him. When Quinn Ewers decided to transfer to Texas, Aller was already a hard commit to Penn State, so then they ended up going for Kyle McCord, who's from Pennsylvania.
You didn't mention that last episode. That is fun.
Yeah,
I like that.
me too. Both teams averaged less than 2 yards per rush, so the run game was non-existent. This was a total defensive showdown. Ohio State takes the first win in the Big Ten race, and if Penn State beats Michigan and Michigan beats Ohio State, Penn State wins the division, which seems wrong because this was the first test of those three teams, and it was a pretty handed Ohio State win. And Urban Meyer was on Fox Game Day before, and he predicted 20-14. And if Penn State had gotten the 2-point conversion that they missed, coach would have hit the nail on the head. Or what is that other saying?
Pin the tail on the donkey.
Pin the tailed on the pin the tailed.
Yeah, pin the tail on the donkey.
We can cut that if you want to be the first one to debut.
No,
that.
it's okay. I totally forgot that was a thing I said earlier. How many over/under lap dances Urban Meyer received in his return?
Well, yeah. So this is in Columbus, so this is right near the bar that he owns.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with.
What's the line?
I'm going to go with 2.5.
Okay.
And speaking of lap dances, did you see that Blueface, the rapper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That's just bad.
Yeah, just bad.
Never going to be welcomed back. I mean, what are we doing here? At an NFL game, there's kids around. It's like when Lizzo showed up to the Lakers game in assless pants. It's just like, what's going on here? You bring your kids to see some football or some basketball. They don't need to see asses shaking all the time.
No,
I got nieces and nephews. Like, I'm more sympathetic to that. That's messed up.
I actually can't believe they didn't go in there and give him the boot.
I'm guessing they didn't know. They had to have known. No, they must not have.
I feel like they even if this day and age that goes viral probably second quarter.
I'm guessing there needs to be, since he's he's relatively famous. I was gonna say a celebrity, but he's not a celebrity. He's relatively famous. Someone higher up needs to make that call to kick him out, and maybe it just didn't get to them until time, and that would be the only explanation I could get.
Time ran out.
Yeah. Or until he had already stopped or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the Penn State, Ohio State
summary. Blueface and Lizzo's asses. Here we go.
Blueface took the L, and the Nittany Lions took the L.
The Blue Lions.
Well,
I thought that's where you were gonna go with it.
It kind of was, but because Nittany is a shade of blue.
Oh.
I think.
I have no idea. I have never even once considered that Nittany is a strange word.
Nope, made it up.
What is it?
Single mountain.
What?
One
mountain?
Should have spent more than 1 second looking at that. I
guess.
That's
that's fine. I mean, that makes no sense, but
there was something in there that I wanted to mention we would circle back to, but anyway. All right. Oh, yes. Nope.
Okay.
It will come back to me because we're getting to this game and it had something to do with that. Anyway.
Okay.
Number 14, Utah beat number 18 USC 34-32. USC's playoff hopes officially over with their second loss in a row and of the season.
This furthers the sentiment that Caleb Williams isn't great against good teams.
Yeah, and Utah specifically, this is as serious of a number having that exists in sports. This is on par with the Yankees and the Twins in the playoffs. TCNJ women's tennis versus the rest of the NJAC from 1982 on. I looked that one up today.
From 1982 till now.
Pretty much. They've won, like, literally every single year.
I went there for 4 years, and I had no idea we were even good at women's tennis. I don't even think I ever met a women's tennis player.
Because they were in the gym.
That's true. They were training.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were a powerhouse women's tennis program.
Dude, I could not believe it.
Wow, that's exciting. One of the worst football programs in the country, though.
Well,
literally, we don't even win on homecoming. You know how hard that is?
Yeah, that's some Friends Academy level stuff. No, dude, I looked it up just because I wanted to throw some kind of one of those in just to see your reaction, and I was like, we're talking Alabama for like 4 decades over.
Wow. Had no idea.
Okay, so yeah, back to not being me distracting myself. Yes. Some are saying, an emphasis on saying, no reports, that Caleb Williams might sit out. He probably shouldn't. There was a bad visual of him. I don't know if you saw it on the sideline. The last drive when Utah was marching after USC had taken the lead, he was from what I saw, the only person sitting down. Everyone else was like standing up watching the defense try to get a stop. Bad visual.
It's a bad look. Bad optics. I'm sure there's some explanation of it, or
there could be a wide pan where there's 8 guys sitting a little further that I haven't seen.
Or like him staying focused in the event he needs to go back out there, or I don't know. You know, there's
wasn't talking to a coach or anything though.
Yeah, you're right. It's a bad look. I don't know if that leads to him sitting out. Why do you think he shouldn't? Just because of how bad this look was?
No, I don't think he's like. I don't think he's honestly good enough to do that. Like, I don't think we're talking like Wemby not playing last year.
Do you think if he sits out, he won't be the first overall pick?
It's entirely possible, yeah.
Wow. Okay. I assumed he was locked in.
He's as big of a lock as we've had in... Honestly, I don't even know if he's a bigger lock than Lawrence, but guys like McShay say he's not quite on that Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning level of prospect, like John Elway.
Okay. I just assumed he was. The way everyone talks about him, and just he's so talented. But
oh yeah, and he's like, he probably is the closest we've seen to Mahomes, which like if Mahomes didn't exist, we could be talking about Caleb Williams going like 10th like Mahomes did.
Yeah. Mahomes created this archetype essentially.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Realistically, if you're a one-loss good Power 5 team and you score 32 points at home, you totally should win the game. But their USC defense let a backup QB march down the field with under a minute left to kick a game-winning field goal. And I don't know if you saw, there was a viral tweet, or not a tweet, but a quote from the Utah coach Kyle Whittingham about the quarterback matchup that went viral after the game.
No, I didn't see it.
He said, yeah, they have a Heisman winner at quarterback, so they're going to make some plays. But we have a pig farmer at quarterback, and we're real proud of him, too.
That's good. I wonder if that was on the spot or if he'd been saving that one up.
Even if he had been saving that one up, I'm totally
still
cool
good.
with it.
It's still good.
It is. I guess we have to stop being surprised when a Lincoln Riley USC team loses a game like this.
Yeah, we talked at length about his issues defensively. It's just, and they're not going to be fixed this year. It's something that needs like major addressing, and if it's not, any expectation of USC succeeding next year should be gone.
And it never happened at Oklahoma.
No. So,
and certainly with them going to the Big Ten, it's going to be more of a pressing issue.
Yeah. If there's no there will need to be, I don't know what their recruiting class looks like, but they either need to have one of the best defensive classes in the country or need to bring in a new DC and overhaul that system
and attack the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Not market.
Transfer market. Yeah.
Soccer.
Start buying players from other colleges.
That would be, the NCAA would have burned to the ground before that happened.
Yeah, Dion would have tried it already.
And then for Utah, with one loss, their goal is still win the conference and hopefully make the playoff.
I've been saying Utah's very sneaky, and they've been doing all this with like you said, a backup quarterback.
The other thing, that was his last moments as a backup. Because right after the game, he got named the starter because Cam Rising's out for the year.
Wow, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, which I don't know what's going to happen next year. I assume if Cam Rising comes back, he's the starter again.
I saw your note last moment as a backup quarterback, and in my head it was last moment as a starter because I thought Cam Rising was coming back next week. That's disappointing.
Yeah, weird time for the coach to say that. Like Saturday night after a win like this. Maybe just wait till Sunday morning. Let your fans enjoy the rest of their night.
Yeah, it's a weird moment. I mean, after a massive win, drop that bomb. But multiple times I've said Utah's really good and just wait till Cam Rising gets back. I'm pretty bummed. I was kind of invested.
They're still like totally alive.
Yeah, I know. It's just like this guy's not as good.
It's not as good, but Cam Rising was a backup too at one point.
Yeah, that's fair, but I've seen this guy play the whole year. He's just not as good.
That's true, yeah. True. All right, also another game, UNC, the Tar Heels came into this ranked number 10 and they dropped one at home to unranked Virginia, which is honestly probably the worst loss of the season.
So after this loss and Duke's loss, I'm assuming, was when you texted me asking if UNC and Duke are confirmed back to basketball teams, basketball programs, basketball schools.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't want to misquote you. And I figured out why that is. It's because basketball season's about to start. So once rumblings of basketball starts, football's over for them. So Duke and UNC are only going to be good up until basically end of October from now on.
Until the Honolulu Classic.
Yeah, that's when it's
Maui
all
Classic,
dries
I think,
up.
Actually.
Yeah, I think it is Maui Classic, but that's my theory on it.
So are you saying all home field advantage gone for both programs once that happens?
Yep.
Okay, well that's a huge shift.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on.
So I mean that's kind of crazy then that UNC couldn't even make it through to the end of the month. Their fans could have thought they won the national championship if they just won like 2 more games.
There's rumblings, man. There's rumblings of basketball starting. That's
they
it.
hear the dribbles
approaching.
approaching.
Yeah, they're in footsteps.
UNC though, they just find a way. They find a way to let one win, Virginia, whose only win came against an FCS program, into their house in the last season with the best quarterback they've ever had. Coming into this game, Virginia was averaging 18 points per game against Power 5 competition, and UNC was allowing, any guess?
Is it around 18?
18.4 points per game.
Wow.
Also against Power 5, so this was supposed to be an easy match made in heaven. UNC offense, on the other hand, came into this averaging 36.8 points per game, also against Power 5 competition. The final score of this one, 31-27, so a big dip in production, offensive production for UNC, and way more points than Virginia usually scores. A one-loss UNC still has a really good chance to get into the playoffs in my mind, just because there's a really good chance that every conference has a one-loss champion. I guess the least likely is probably the SEC with Georgia. So if they win out and win the ACC, then their season's still alive. But if you're losing to Virginia like this, that's probably not going to happen.
Not to get off the UNC train, but it's so interesting that Georgia could be the one unbeaten team when all year we've been talking about how they're not the Georgia of old.
Yep.
But
happened fast.
Yeah, it did.
Especially without Bowers, they've still been steamrolling people.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you have all this parity, and it feels like there's more talent in college football than ever.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I wonder why that is. I guess the transfer portal has something to do with it, but
I think totally, yeah, because you got guys moving up from like JUCO and stuff immediately.
Yeah, that makes sense. It definitely, the product of college football this year has been pretty just amazing, for lack of a better word.
It has, yeah. I'm pretty like set in my thinking that it's better than the NFL.
I don't know if you'll ever get me there. And by I don't know if you'll ever get me there, you'll never get me there.
I know.
Yeah. But I mean, you've gotten me to appreciate it, so
to each their own.
Yeah.
This is one that I will not. I'd rather get people liking hockey than college football just because they need the numbers more.
You had me and our friend Bray talking about us being, well, mostly
I-
me convincing him to go as long as you paid for us to go.
I will. I'll get tickets.
I know, I said
But
it.
I also heard some talk about treason.
Why?
Someone was mentioning becoming an Islander fan, I thought.
No, I said that if the Islanders still played at Nassau Coliseum, I would be more inclined to be an Islander fan because of how close to home it is.
True.
But they don't.
I'm glad they don't then.
It's also
Even though
like
it's really easy for me to get there too.
it's also like when we don't have like Long Island teams. Like I know the Mets play in Queens, but it doesn't count.
The Lizards.
It doesn't mean a thing. I mean, that does not mean a thing at all. So like the Islanders have had that place in my heart a little bit because we just don't have that. Other than what, the Ducks too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We had D-Train for a minute.
he never even played. You told me.
He did not play.
Yeah. So
Never even showed up.
That's disappointing. So that's the only reason. But then they moved, so they blew it.
They did blow it.
And I have a Rangers hat that I think I stole from Perry.
Nice.
Yeah, 15 years ago.
You can get a sweatshirt if we go.
On you?
No.
Yeah, they
the
probably cost
game
a
will be on
fortune.
me.
They probably cost a fortune.
If I have any of the coupons they give for paying with a Chase card, then you can have those.
Okay.
But I don't think I do. Also, Alabama, number 11 in the country at the time of this game, beat number 17 Tennessee 34-20 at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa.
So I lost money on this game. I took Alabama, but I took the under again.
What was it?
I don't know. I think I even bought it up to like 50 or something.
Was it a 5-8 pick? Bets pick?
No. I was just feeling myself. Oh, I got a bunch of boosts. I just logged into FanDuel, and it just kept being like, this boost, this boost, this boost. I got like 5 of them. So I just placed all these bets like Saturday morning on college football and the NFL, and I lost my big NFL parlay last night, as I sent it in the chat.
Yeah, because of the
No
Mostert.
Yeah. Would have been a big hit, though.
Yeah, plus 9 something.
Yeah. With the boost.
Yeah.
FanDuel's been doing it up lately.
Tennessee was rolling in the first half of this one. It was probably the best single half that I saw them play this season. Milton was playing awesome, and Bama was getting nothing on offense. And I don't know what happened, but Nick Saban must give like the best halftime speeches of all time because this was all Crimson Tide in the second half. They kicked it off with a bomb touchdown from Milroe. I forgot the receiver that caught it, number 17. And then Bama outscored them 27-0 in the second half.
There's no other explanation for it other than, I mean, halftime adjustments too, but I prefer the rah-rah pep rally idea.
Yeah, or it could just be Saban going in there, turning off the music if any was playing, which it probably wasn't, and just staring at everyone for 15 minutes.
Like in Moneyball, when Billy Bean walks into the locker room and sees Jeremy Giambi dancing after a loss and tells him to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Great scene. Great movie.
Nick Saban should just have a guy in the locker room that's there. It's like a staff member that's just the kick-out guy.
I imagine it that Nick Saban demands all music being played on a record player. That way he can just make the record scratch for more dramatic effect. That's how I think it works better that way.
100% it works better that way, yeah. Or a printing press.
Or wait, why? Why a printing press?
Stop the presses.
Okay.
Like something there just printing headlines of like Vols roll over Tide.
Nice.
It's like stop the presses.
But Saban pre-types the headlines and prints them himself.
It's like, see, they're already like talking about the loss.
Yeah.
Except like, you guys got to change this, or these are going out tomorrow.
These are excellent motivational tactics. Some program should hire us.
100%, yeah. I think we could actually get almost any school in the country motivated to a national championship.
At the very least, we would lighten the mood, I think.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Cut the tension. Josh Heupel, the Tennessee coach, was asked after the game if he thought the officiating was one-sided, and he went like this.
This is a big pause. Was it this big?
And then he said, Does that answer your question? So he just like, well, like,
just
because like he wanted to say like, yeah, the officiating was terrible, and
did you feel like it was?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly there were some things like misholds on touchdown drives. I think one on a touchdown pass. I saw a couple of highlights on Twitter that certainly made it look from a post-game analysis perspective like there were a lot of missed calls on Alabama.
Okay. In the moment when you were watching, did anything egregious stand out to you?
I didn't see the missed hold on the penalty, so that probably would have been... Sorry, the missed hold on the touchdown, so that probably would have been the most obvious. But besides that, honestly, not really.
Not to bring this back to the NFL, because I'm sure we'll talk even about this game later, but the missed calls in the Eagles-Dolphins game were obvious. Like,
yeah.
that no face mask call late in the game was
I've never
egregious.
seen that missed.
His head, like, once you see that head snap, like, you never miss that call.
What else could it be? Yeah.
It's so obvious. So there was a lot of, So that's why I bring it up, is just for contrast. Like, if there was nothing that egregious, then I think a head coach blaming 27 unanswered on bad reffing is weak.
Yeah, I agree with that. Find answers in your own room.
Exactly. Point the thumb, not the finger.
Oh, I like that. All right, anyway, Florida State beat Duke 38-20, and Duke football being easy to root for is a mind fuck.
I love Duke basketball, always have, so they're easy to root for me, but hearing you say that is pretty insane. No one, if you either love Duke or you hate them.
That's what I meant. I meant from like somebody who doesn't like Duke football. Yeah. They're shockingly easy to root for. Duke basketball from the outside is notoriously not easy to root for, which is just what happens when you're good forever.
Yeah, it's jealousy.
Yeah, and Grayson Allen.
yeah. Grayson Allen was unlikable. Even by the end, I couldn't even defend him anymore. I do like him. I do think he gets a bad rep in the NBA for some shit he does that like other players do, but it's the type of thing where you don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore.
100%.
So, goes both ways.
Is he on the Nuggets now?
Suns.
Oh yeah, you're right. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's good depth for them.
Yeah. Riley Leonard, tough as nails. Had that high ankle sprain at the end of the Notre Dame game. Was a game time decision. Widely assumed that he wouldn't play because that's crazy that he would play this fast. And it was visibly bothering him. I couldn't imagine what he was on. But to tough it out for as long as he did is super impressive. And their defense and run game are legit, Duke.
What is the Drake lyric? Like a sprained ankle, boy, ain't nothing to play with?
Yeah, exactly.
Drake was referring to high ankle sprains in that lyric, because regular ankle sprains you can play on, but a high ankle is nothing to mess around with. We saw it. Mahomes had one in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, you are just a totally different player. That's why, like, now, a high ankle, if you hear about that in fantasy football, that guy's going to be out unless they explicitly say it's mild. That guy's out 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. Like Saquon, it took him a month to come back from it?
Yeah, should have IR'd him. And they were like, oh, yeah, he could be back this week. 1 week after. It's like, no chance he's coming back. There's no way.
Yeah, they
4 to 6 weeks.
They didn't rule Fields out until like 2 days before the game, when
driving me nuts. Dude.
Everybody knew he was going to be out.
Guy tried popping his thumb back into place. He's a quarterback. If you can't grip you can't grip the ball, you can't play.
Toughness cannot be questioned, though.
No.
Same with Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
Florida State, in the end, out-talented and out-healthied them. The talent disparity eventually catches up in a game like that. This had been a dream season for Duke, though, before then. They had game day on campus. Duke. They beat Clemson on national television. Duke. They legit had Notre Dame on the ropes.
Duke.
And they went into Doak Campbell and put up a real fight against FSU in an atmosphere that overwhelms most teams. You know who did that? Duke.
Even though UNC blew their game, I do think Duke and UNC as football programs are trending up, even with this loss by Duke. Florida State's one of the best teams in the country and has been one of the best teams in the country all year. So putting up any semblance of a fight for a Duke program with historically little football success is very impressive.
Yeah, and for Florida State, dreams of a national championship are right on track with wins so far over LSU, Clemson, and Duke. So the goal remains the same: win the conference, and you're in the playoffs. Probably.
FSU's got a good chance. They're a really good team.
We could be chopping in late December.
Man, what a dream that would be for you.
Yeah, it hasn't been in that big a moment since the Braves were in the World Series.
I forgot that this happened, and I heard about it today. Is when the Braves won the World Series that they botched their parade.
Really?
And they did it like they hadn't won in so long in Atlanta that they messed up the route, and the vans and stuff were going like 30 miles per hour. So like half the people didn't even get to see them. Apparently it was done in like 30 minutes, their whole parade.
I gotta find videos of that.
Yeah, I meant to look into it more, but it's hilarious.
I was in Boston for one Red Sox World Series, and I did not leave my apartment the day of the parade.
I wouldn't have either.
I didn't want to see anything to do with anything.
I may have gone home.
I wasn't gonna do that because it was a weekday.
I would have fled the state.
That was more doable.
Yeah.
Than coming all the way home.
That's fair.
Some other teams to mention: Washington, Oklahoma, Texas, and the Oregon Ducks all struggled in close wins, but prevailed. And for most of those teams, the goal is just survive and keep surviving. So that's, in the long run, fine. The most surprising was Washington winning 15-7 because of a pick six that they had in the fourth quarter.
The UW powerhouse offense only putting up 8, or was it 7? Did they go for 2?
It was 6 at the time.
Yeah.
They were down 7-6.
That's insane.
With 8 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, that's your number 1 program in the country.
That is, yeah. But hey, survive and advance in mid-October against Arizona State. All right, also, there was some big UFC actions. We got a write-up from producer Rue on this. I actually caught some of them because they were during the day. On Saturday, Kamaru Usman and Alexander Volkanovski both fought this weekend and both took their fights on 10 days' notice, which is crazy because the camps leading up to these things are usually like months long. Khamzat Chimaev defeated Usman in a number 1 contender fight. Dana said the winner will face Sean Strickland next for the middleweight title. Anything on this bad boy?
No, I wasn't tuned into any of this at all.
All right, fair enough. And then Islam Makhachev defeated Volkanovski to defend the lightweight belt. He beat him via knockout with a left kick to the head in the first round. It's Islam's second victory over Volk, who was the pound-for-pound number 1 in the world for a while, which probably closes the door for a third fight between them, which is a little unfortunate because this one happened on such short notice. But Volk handled the defeat with grace. He didn't make the excuses, even though, like I just did, they were totally there.
If I was in his camp, I probably wouldn't have advised him to take the fight.
I probably wouldn't have either, but there was probably no stopping him. Would you like to go on the NFL?
Yeah, for the meat.
Yeah, the meat.
Brought to you by fill-in-the-blank meat sponsor.
Brought to you by 528 Meats.
Doesn't exist yet, but...
Yet. 528. We have the meats. We have the meats.
Might be an issue there.
Yeah. All right. So, as usual for the NFL talk, we're going to do each storyline, surprise, disappointment, and then a couple games to watch. I think it's my turn to go first.
Go for it.
So my storyline is Lamar Jackson is balling. He might win the MVP, and the Ravens are the second best team in the AFC.
I thought you were going to say in the NFL. Literally raised my eyebrows.
I saw.
Yeah.
No, in the AFC. Yesterday was Lamar's best game by EPA per dropback since 2019, which was his MVP season. On the year, he's completing 71% of his passes, which is second only to Tua. This is despite having 10 drops from his weapons on the season. He's on track for 4,000 passing yards and 900 rushing yards, which has only been done once. He's done it. He's balled out this year against very good defenses. Not like in 2019 when he won the MVP and the first game was against the tanking for Tua Dolphins. He's played Cleveland, Detroit, and Cincinnati, and in each of those games, by defensive EPA per drive, these teams all had their worst games of the year by orders of magnitude. What changed for the Ravens? Partially the investment In wide receivers, they signed Odell Beckham Jr. and they drafted Zay Flowers in the first round. They also brought in Todd Monken from Georgia as OC, and they've added way more RPOs than prior, as opposed to traditional read options. And then I have some more on the defense, but I don't know if there's anything you wanted to comment on about Lamar and how he's playing.
So initially, when I was doing my prep for the episode, my disappointment was going to be the Lions, and then I realized in typing up of my notes that I was talking a lot more about the Ravens, so I figured I would just save some of my thoughts for you.
All right.
It felt like all year the Ravens were a little bit scratching the surface of their potential on offense, and they were like a little bit of a sleeping giant, I would say, and Todd Monken seemed poised to get the most out of Lamar, and he had been playing well all year, but it just seemed like he was ready to explode and even Lamar said so himself. I think I don't remember, did they have a bye yet, or I can't. I'm
not sure. Maybe an extended bye.
Yeah, he had some presser where he said like, we're just ready for our moment to blow up. And this was that game, especially given how talented the Lions are and how good they've been all year. Actually, my next note is about the defense, so I'll let you go first.
All right, yeah, the defense is also like totally legitimate. Second fewest yards allowed per game in the NFL. Second best pass defense in the league. The most sacks in the NFL. The least points per game allowed. And Mike McDonald, their second-year defensive coordinator, is poised to get a head coaching job after this season. So I honestly think the only team better than the Ravens in the AFC is Kansas City.
I would probably agree, I think, at this point. I've liked what I've seen from the Ravens, which is why, even though we got into the argument with the semantics, which is why it was so disappointing to me that they didn't beat the Steelers. That felt like their opportunity for a statement game, but now, I mean, this was an even bigger one, so it all worked out. But their defense was so good. I mean, honestly, their defense and offense were both so good in tandem. The Lions' first 3 drives were 3-and-outs. By the time the Lions got the ball for the 4th time, it was 28-0. Like, that's game over.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's already game over. You've only had the ball 4 times. You're out of the game. It's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, wild. Ravens are really, really good. Outside of the top 3 teams, I would say, in the NFL, it's becoming more clear. It's pretty wide open otherwise. So, and I would put I put the Ravens 4, but I would put the Ravens at the top of the pretty wide open in the AFC.
I'm almost ready to put them in the like already penciled into the Final Four.
I'm not ready to put them there yet. I'd like to see them play some of the other elite AFC teams before I put them there, but they're close.
Yeah. I will say what could end up hurting them in the end is how good their division is, because they're going to be playing physical, competitive games 6 times a year just against those teams.
Especially since the Steelers seem to have figured it out a little bit, and at least, I mean, it would not be surprising if the Tomlin never under 500 streak continued this year.
I think it's gonna at this point.
Yeah. At a time, it seemed like it was a worry, though.
Yeah, 100%. Last year, too.
Yeah, that's true. He just always finds ways. Such a good coach. Is that all you got on your storyline?
Yep.
All right, so mine it's a little bit wordy, but it's basically that from now on, pretty much anything that happens in the first 4 weeks of a season, just throw it out. None of it matters. It's all extended preseason. You got guys like Josh Dobbs with you and me waking up and actively questioning if they're possibly the guy. It took so much effort for me to do this that I ended up giving up on it, but I was finding like his stats from the first 4 weeks versus the last 2 weeks. And the difference is just so stark. Like, it's just unbelievable. Then the same thing with like Jordan Love. Teams like the Bengals start off 1-3 and look terrible. Teams like the Bucs start off 3-1 and you're like, oh, pleasant surprise. Maybe the Bucs are pretty good this year. Now the Bucs look terrible and the Bengals look good again. Now Josh Dobbs looks bad again and Jordan Love looks bad again. It's like the first 4 weeks really need to be taken with a grain of salt. Obviously, there are some, there's some things to be taken from them, but for the most part, it's just extended preseason, especially the first 2 weeks, but now it's almost seeming like it's becoming the first 4 weeks.
The biggest things now that have been taken from the first 4 weeks that seem to stay are just this guy can play.
Pretty much. Like, you didn't know right away if, like, after week 1, if the Puka thing was real. Obviously it is. There's other... I mean, you didn't know if Josh Dobbs was real. Now it's like, okay, it's time for Kyler to come back. We've seen enough of this guy. It's all of those narratives that are like, oh, is this happening? Is this not happening? The less likely ones are now fizzling out, and it's like, okay, these guys are who we thought they were. And small sample size be damned, we were just leaning into it because that's what you do. Even, like, the Giants are starting to look more like how they were supposed to. Like,
Bears, too.
The Bears, too. Like, they weren't supposed to be this awful albatross?
Yeah.
Yeah?
100%.
Okay, what is an albatross? Oh, no, that's that song. Or is that albatross?
I'd be surprised if there's one
Is
called albatross.
No, it's like, I'm an albatross.
Something that causes great problems.
Okay, sure. That's what the Bears and the Giants weren't supposed to be. They were supposed to be pretty competitive this year, and now they're at least rounding into form somewhat into more middle-of-the-pack teams, which is, I guess, is all right, but whatever. So, welcome to the NFL season.
Let me tell you, I'm really glad that Jordan Love ended up being bad.
He looked awful.
Yeah.
He looked really bad.
Against what is one of the worst defenses ever.
If he can't look good against the Broncos, I don't know if he can ever look good.
Big win for me.
Yeah.
Much needed.
But see, that's the thing.
Down 2-0 in the series.
He genuinely looked like convincing that he was a starting caliber quarterback those first 4 weeks. I never really raised his ceiling that much. I never said he was going to be that good. All I said was he looks like a starter. He doesn't anymore. I mean, he's so inexperienced still that I'm not saying he's trash, but he looks trash.
Well, all right, let me ask you something. So, in 4 plays of football, people thought Zach Wilson might have learned enough from Aaron Rodgers to be a good quarterback. How come everybody selectively ignored the fact that with 3 years to learn from Aaron Rodgers, nobody was saying Jordan Love was ready to take the league by storm?
Jets fans are delusional.
Okay, that's the reason?
No, I don't know. Zach Wilson looked so awful that you had to really, like, not just Jets fans, but you had to really delude yourself to think that he was like good, that he could be a good quarterback all of a sudden.
I know we talk about him a lot, but sometimes it feels like we're actually taking loony pills and we're the only ones.
It does. Like we're in the Matrix, and like we took the pills to wake up, and no one else has. Like, I don't know. I had to say it in our chat the other day. Like, dude, you're out of your mind if you think he's actually good now. He's not actively bad. That's the difference. That doesn't make him good, though.
Yeah.
It's like people like, oh, Tyrod Taylor is a good NFL quarterback. Like, no, he's a good backup.
They're saying Bagent's good.
Yeah, like they played good games and they're competent. It doesn't make you good. It's a difference.
Yeah. Well, you know what my surprise is?
I don't.
It's Tyson Bagent.
Oh, I do actually. All right.
Has to be.
Get into your spiel. I got something for you.
All right, okay. So he's the first Bears quarterback to win his first NFL start since 2004. He played, like you said last week, at Division II Shepherd University. No relation to Shea.
Spelled different.
He's the NCAA all-division career passing touchdown leader with 159. You mentioned that also last week. A 43-10 record as a starter with 17,000 passing yards. His father is Tyson Bagent, a CrossFit gym owner.
So are they both Tyson Bagent?
Travis. His father's Travis Bagent. My bad. His father nicknamed the Beast because he is a 28-time arm wrestling world champion.
He's like the best lefty arm wrestling champion there is, apparently.
And has won titles with both arms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Which is pure dominance.
That's like unheard of, I think.
Generational kind of talent.
Yeah.
The Bears were missing Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, and Nate Davis. But Bagent completed 72% of his pass attempts for 162 yards and 1 touchdown, while averaging an small, 5.6 yards per attempt, kept plays alive with his feet. 3 rushes for 24 yards, including 1 on 3rd and long that kept a touchdown drive alive. He had no turnovers, which is probably the biggest thing. And the Bears were 8 of 13 on 3rd down with him, which is a 61.5 conversion rate. On the season before the game, they were averaging 40.5% of their 3rd down conversions, 32 of 79. And Justin Fields confirmed still the starting quarterback.
He is like the total opposite of Justin Fields. Like the absolute opposite. Unheralded prospect from a tiny program, not physically gifted. I mean, he's not like a bad athlete, but he's not physically gifted in any real way. His arm isn't super strong to the point where they literally pulled him out for the Hail Mary throw. And he gets the ball out early and on time. The total opposite of Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But my fun little spiel for you that I got is some of the teams that he beat before the Raiders.
Okay, I'm pumped.
Okay, so he beat Kutztown,
KUTZ.
Yeah.
I have heard of them, actually.
Shippensburg.
Definitely never heard of them.
Lock Haven.
No, haven't heard.
Who they beat 72-7.
Wow.
Millersville. West Space Chester. So not Westchester, it's Westchester.
Westchester, okay.
Yes. Bloomsburg.
Okay.
Indiana of Pennsylvania.
Is that IUPUI?
It just says IUP. So I don't think it is IUPUI.
Indiana University, Pennsylvania University, Indianapolis.
I don't think that's
that must be.
This is just Indiana,
Pennsylvania.
PA. Then Slippery Rock.
That can't be real.
That's real. They beat them 37-27, and then they got blown out in the championship to Colorado School of Mines.
No way.
Yeah.
Are they the miners?
No, they're the ore miners.
That's better. I'll
But
allow it.
they're
1,000 times out of 1,000.
But they play in Golden, Colorado, so they could have been the Gold Diggers. That would have been pretty.
Do you want to be the Gold Diggers?
Could have just ran out every game to Kanye West.
Gold
Gold Miners would have been better.
Gold Miners, yeah.
Than Ore Miners.
But
Ore Diggers? They might be the Ore Diggers.
Ore Diggers is way cooler.
I think they're the Ore Diggers.
Aren't all ore diggers technically gold miners, though, anyway?
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they're digging for ore, they're mining for ores of gold, but they just tell you they're digging for ore?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, they're the Ore Diggers. And their mascot is Marvin the Miner and Blaster the Burro.
Marvin the Miner is the Ore Diggers mascot? See, that's not okay.
That's what I'm saying. He should be Dan the Digger.
Yeah, or they should be the Miners.
Or just the Miners. Either way, yeah. Then he could be Marvin the Miner, and that makes sense. But yeah, just thought that was hilarious. So he's beaten all those, except for whatever, Colorado School of the Miners. He beat all of those other minor league teams, and then the Raiders.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no. A pun kind of intended.
The minor league.
Yeah, pun kind of intended. And then the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, couldn't even beat Colorado School of Miners. What is the name of that school? What did I say?
I think Miners, yeah.
Yeah, School of Mines.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, that's all I got. I told you, man, the guy, he looked like a deer in headlights first play of two games ago when he first came in. He threw one of those, like, stripped from behind kind of throws, immediate touchdown.
Yep.
Tough way to make your debut. And
can't get any worse than that, though.
No. And then he kind of picked it up and he started completing some passes. I was like, this guy's not horrible. And he wasn't horrible. It's pretty good.
Yeah. One of my buddies texted me the day of the game. He's like, should I pick the Raiders in my survivor pool? And I was like, they probably should beat the Bears, but it's up to you if you trust the Josh McDaniels coached outfit. So he's probably going to get fired after this year.
Yeah, that's on you if you're relying on Josh McDaniels. You should almost never bet on them.
I agree.
Unless you're betting on them to lose.
It's the Bears' first home win in, I think, 11 games.
Did you bet them?
No.
A win's a win.
Yeah, win's a win.
Yeah. My surprise is actually a bad surprise.
Okay.
I feel like we usually go with good surprises. But mine is Jameson Williams being such a non-factor just overall. Last year, he got treated with kid gloves because he was coming off a torn ACL and only came back week 13. So, like, fine, whatever, you can explain it away. This year, suspended for 6 games, which ultimately turned into 4 games. Since he's come back, he's yet to play over 50% of the offensive snaps. Marvin Jones Jr. was away from the team this week, and everyone thought that he would step into that role and get like way more snaps, but instead he got only 33, which was the same amount as this year's 7th-round rookie Antoine Green, and only 6 more than Khalif Raymond. It's just like, when are you going to give this kid a chance? And he dropped a 47-yard garbage time touchdown late in the 4th quarter, which would have helped pad his stats, but aside from the deep shot 2 games ago and this missed deep shot now, it's like, I'm not going to start throwing around the B word because it's too soon for that, and it's a very, very small sample size, but for a guy that they took 12th overall, the Lions seem to have like 0 interest in giving him a real chance.
There's a striking connection between the Lions taking Alabama guys 12th overall and not really working too hard to get them involved in the game plan, I guess.
It's just like, imagine the Lions took actual contributors with these picks. Like, these are high picks. You could get like legitimate day 1 contributors. You knew you were getting. Did they? No, they already signed David Montgomery at this time. Like, you didn't need to take Jahmyr Gibbs. They already knew they had a number 1 receiver in Amon-Ra. Like, he was awesome already at this time. You didn't need to take Jameson Williams. You could have taken real pieces. And it's like, the Lions are obviously really good. Like, aside from this last game, like, they're a good team and they're going to be a playoff team, and that's cool. But if you could get 2 really important players at 12 and after even, and they went for like surplus players. It's weird. I don't know why they're doing that.
They went for the kind of guys the Chiefs would pick.
Yeah, exactly. And the Chiefs would be picking 30th or 32nd, you know? Like, it makes sense then
like
to take a flyer on a guy like that.
Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Like, you take the talent because also because the Chiefs kind of needed a running back. The Lions didn't need a running back.
True.
Or a receiver. And they had DeAndre Swift, who looks awesome. They could have just kept him.
Yeah, for cheap. He was already signed.
Yeah, so you'd have the same skill set. Who also, DeAndre Swift had one of the most disgusting jukes I've ever seen last night. It was for like a 8-yard game, but it was gross.
You just left the guy. I think I saw the one you're talking about.
He like cut left and just the guy went. It was almost like a basketball crossover. It was like that gross. But yeah, that guy was making gross cuts. They could have had him, and David Montgomery's looked awesome all year, and another contributor. Like, yes, you can excuse their drafting because of the success they're having and like how talented their roster is, but they have other holes that they could have done a much better job of addressing.
They could have gotten someone like Christian Gonzalez, who went later.
Yeah.
Even like Jackson Smith and Jigba are one of the other receivers.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they didn't know about the status of Jameson Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Could have gone like with a D-back, Forbes, Deonte Banks.
Yeah, there's like a lot of talent on the board that they could have gone with. It's weird to keep doing this. That's all. It's just a weird thing. But he's my surprise because I held on to him all year in one fantasy league. And he was taking up a roster spot. You can't put suspended guys on the IR. And I held on to him all year just because I thought, you've seen Josh Reynolds have some big games this year as the number 2 with Amon-Ra, just because the Lions' offense has been so high-powered. You would think a guy with first-round pedigree could step into that offense and add a whole new dynamic to it and just be a weapon, a game breaker right away. And he hasn't shown, like I don't know what this guy does better right now than Jalen Hyatt.
He hasn't shown that he's guaranteed to be around for much longer.
Yeah, which is crazy.
All right, so my disappointment for this week, it's the Buffalo Bills, and I want to let you know, this is the last time I'll be putting them on the disappointment list because they are not a good football team.
Not even a good football team.
No.
Okay.
They're an above-average football team. They're an average football team with a really good quarterback. And I know part of that is due to injury. Obviously, they're missing guys like well, no, they're not missing Von Miller anymore, but he's still coming back from his season-ending injury last year. Trey White out for the year. Matt Milano out for the year. DeQuan Jones out, I think, definitely for the year. Ed Oliver out for last game. But they might not even make the playoffs. Like, let's say they don't win the division, assuming a 10-win team is enough to make the AFC playoffs as a wild card, they would need to go 6-4 the rest of the season. And to me, this does not scream a team that can win 6 out of their next 10 games the way they're playing now.
I've always thought, except for when they had me drinking the Kool-Aid, that the Bills were a flawed team. Injuries have ravaged their defense. It was once pretty much, not pretty much, a strength of their team. Now it's become a major weakness, it seems. I mean, they let the Patriots put up 29. Patriots have been awful all year.
Mac, who hadn't made a fourth quarter comeback in like 3 years.
And he looked really good, actually. This could actually be a turning point for the Patriots. They looked functional, which was a lot for them. They don't have the hardest schedule. They've got some winnable games on here. I don't know. You're right. 6 wins could be tough here.
Yeah.
I think they're better than the Broncos. Or sorry, the Bucks, who they play on Thursday.
I agree.
They play the Broncos as well, so that I think they win that game.
But like even being better than the Bucks, yes, I agree with you. But it's on a short week, so who knows what could happen?
Yeah, you're right. Thursdays are always weird, but I still think they win that game. But you're right, it's possible. I'd still put them over the Jets. I probably would pick them over the Pats in the next one. But other than that, the teams they play, I think the Chargers are just as good as them. I think the Cowboys are probably better than them. The Eagles are better than them. The Bengals will be a close game.
It's far from a lock that they're going to make the playoffs, is all I'm saying.
No, I agree. Them winning 6 of those 10 games, they played a lot of really good teams.
Yeah. And yesterday, the Pats came into the game averaging 12 points per game on offense, and they had scored on 18% of their drives. Josh Allen threw an interception on the very first pass attempt of the game on a sail route. He forced it. Jabril Peppers made a great play, starting on Dawson Knox, then dropping back when he recognized the route that they were running because he said that they had been torched on it last year. The interception helped give New England an early 10-0 lead. So some of the problems with the Bills, they can't tackle. That was none more evident than on the last drive of the game when Ramondre Stevenson broke multiple tackles on a catch and run to set up the eventual game-winning field goal. The Bills have also scored 10 points total in their last 3 first halves. They had scored a touchdown in the first half yesterday, but it was called back because of a Latavius Murray pass interference, which is just a poorly coached thing to happen. That doesn't happen to a team that's functioning well, playing well, and coached well. Aside from the drop that he had, Dawson Knox and Gabe Davis were basically invisible. 2 catches for 16 yards, and that's supposed to be your number 2 wide receiver, and right now your starting tight end. The pass rush was exposed by short passes. They came into the game number 1 in sack percentage, and they only took down Mac Jones once, and the kicker missed a couple kicks, which just adds insult to injury.
I probably should have interrupted you because now I'm going a little bit further back.
That's fine.
For the Ramondre tackle-breaking play that you mentioned, on the year, typically, generally speaking, Ramondre in his career has been a tackle-breaking machine, but on the year he's been, his tackle-breaking metrics have been awful. It's been, the total opposite of who he's been his career, which is why it's, why he's been so awful and why it's been so surprising that, Zeke is at all eating into his carries because he's, Ramondre's just been a totally different guy. So him breaking up multiple tackles on one play is shocking, basically, given where he's been all year. It's just not who he typically is. Otherwise, I never thought that they were, again, except for after that Dolphins game, but I always thought that they had flaws. The last time I felt really good about them was that playoff game against the Chiefs. Ever since then, they've
been waiting for them to hit a higher gear.
Yeah, the name brand has carried them and given them. It's been very easy to excuse their losses because of who we've established in our heads who they are.
Because we've seen them at their best.
Yes, but they're not that. And I think they had a chance prior to all these injuries. They lost like a lot of their best defensive players. Like that is hard to overcome.
It's 3 All-Pros.
Yeah, there is some excuse there, but bad team or not, Josh Allen throwing a pick on the first play of the game, you're a star you're not just a star, you're a superstar quarterback. Like, you're expected to be better than that against an in-division opponent. You're putting yourself in a hole right away, no matter how good you are. It's why I have maintained that I would rather start a team with Joe Burrow than Josh Allen. Even with his struggles this year, which I think stem almost entirely from his injuries, like, I just think I'd rather the guy who doesn't make silly mistakes like that all the time. Like, Josh Allen, he does his hero ball thing. Like we talked last week, the Madden interceptions of just like, I'm going to make this work because I'm too good. He's got like a little bit too much Brett Favre in him.
Yeah, I agree. It's very hard to argue that Burrow's not a more stable pick. It's impossible to argue that.
Yeah. I think this is a difference of scale for good and above average. I think we're probably pretty in line. It's just, I don't want to take them. Like, who else would you have who's a good team that, like, are the Lions are a good team, or are the Lions a very good team?
Very good team.
Okay, so who's a good team? Like a tier above the Bills in your eyes, just so I can...
Pittsburgh?
I
don't know what to say. They win games that they're not supposed to.
Okay.
The Bills lose games they're not supposed to.
So you would put Pittsburgh over the Bills?
I don't know. It feels wrong.
It does feel wrong.
Swap the quarterbacks and
the Steelers are a very good team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything besides Josh Allen, the Steelers, including coaching, are a better team.
That's fair, but Josh Allen is an elevator.
I know, 100%.
That's tough.
I think the Bills are a bad team with Josh Allen.
Without Josh Allen.
Bad team that has Josh Allen is what I meant by saying with Josh Allen.
Yeah. It's close.
Yeah.
Close one. Okay. I mean, I don't agree with the Steelers one.
I'm not sure I do either, but, I'm going to stick with it, though. I'm going to stick with it.
All right.
I think the Steelers could easily beat the Bills based off what I've seen the last couple of weeks.
I'd like to see it. I wish we could see it. Maybe we do no, it wouldn't work. I was gonna say we could do a Madden sim.
I don't trust.
Yeah,
I don't trust EA for anything useful.
Yeah, no. That's fair. You got anything else?
I don't.
All right. So my disappointment is a big one. It's something. It's actually bordering on ruining my whole week.
Nice.
It's Bijan Robinson. Totally unacceptable. Absolute fantasy nightmare. No injury designation whatsoever going into the game. And the guy Arthur Smith held him out because he felt a little off.
3 total yards?
3 total yards. He played like 8 snaps and got 1 touch, 3 total yards. He was the fourth in points for Falcons running backs yesterday.
Huh.
So, I'm going to lose a game to the worst team in our fantasy league because of Bijan giving me 0.3. It's really, every time I think about it, really pissing me off. And I'm glad the NFL's investigating it, and I hope they take a freaking draft pick away from the Falcons. I'm so mad about it.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that it's actually being looked into.
And it should be. It's unbelievable. It's like shaving points. I cannot fathom how that is acceptable in today's day and age. That never happens anymore.
No, there's a reason that you're required to report the injuries. It's for Vegas.
Yes, 100%. And I saw, I don't know if FanDuel did, but I think I saw DraftKings voided all their bets, the Bijan bets and the Deshaun Watson bets. Good guy moves out of them, or whatever books did it. Good guy moves. But Bijan sitting out because he had a boo-boo is totally unacceptable. Right?
Do we know that's what happened?
He said he felt a little off and he had a headache. That's what he
said that?
He said he said he had a headache from last night and then again in the morning, and Arthur Smith said he felt a little off, so he held him out.
I don't remember that ever happening at Texas.
So then sit his ass down, though. Why even dress him and play him for 6 snaps?
Yeah, no, it's weird.
It's so strange.
It makes no sense. If it was like a migraine or something, there's no way he would have been out there.
Exactly. So if it's a really bad, and also if it was really that bad, he wouldn't be giving post-game press conference interviews and seeming fine.
True.
It's bizarre, and I'm upset about it. Honestly, I'm going for the 7 stages of grief, 6 stages of grief. I'm going through all of them.
5?
However many stages there are, I've gone through them, and I'm mostly just going back and forth between anger and sadness.
Are you now out on Arthur Smith?
I've been out on Arthur Smith.
But like enemies out.
Bored, maybe. I might be. The only reason I'm not is because I've never had Kyle Pitts. If I had Kyle Pitts, I would be. And he's
been long ago enemies.
He's almost there because I traded away Drake London in 2 leagues, who's been really good. Yeah. He was horrible when I had him.
Maybe this is all personal.
It might be. That's how it feels. It feels like Arthur Smith with his bank account and his doing the NFL coaching thing as a hobby for funsies. Like, he's just tormenting fantasy owners. Like, you know what? Oh, you guys think Kyle Pitts had a good rookie year? I'm going to ruin his whole career. You guys are going to keep getting him, and then every once in a while, I'll give you a bone. I'll throw you a bone. He'll have a big game, and then I'm going to take it away. That's how Arthur Smith feels.
And I'm going to give him Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, he's a little kid. I don't remember what movie I'm referencing, but he's a little kid holding the magnifying glass, killing all the ants with the sun. That's Arthur Smith. We're all the ants. He's just tormenting us with the magnifying glass.
We should get a shirt made of that.
We should. I'd wear the hell out of it. I think Kyle Pitts would too.
He might. Do you have any games for next week that you're looking forward to?
That I'm looking forward to would probably be Bengals-Niners. That I think other people might be looking forward to is Jets-Giants.
Ooh. Forgot about that.
Yeah. I'm not really looking forward to that. I'm also not really looking forward to watching it with our Jets fan friends, to be honest with you.
Why? Just in case things go awry?
I'm going to be unhappy the whole time. And if their Giants are winning, I'm going to be uneasy the whole time. That's kind of how it goes. I'm never going to be... And I just... Even if they're not annoying, right? Which is fine. If they're beating us, like... I was pretty annoying after the butt fumble. I was pretty annoying then. And after the Victor Cruz... 90-yard touchdown that I think effectively ended the Jets season, I was kind of annoying then. But even if they're not trying to be annoying, there's going to be a lot of, I can tell they're trying to not be annoying. Oh, well, hey, maybe the Giants get a good draft pick kind of deal. It's going to be what's the word I'm looking? Condescending almost.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
going to, so it's even, they're going to be unintentionally pissing me off. And I'm looking forward to it because I get to hang out with my friends and watch the game, but I just know I'm gonna be mostly unhappy.
So I'm gonna, if I'm invited.
Oh, you're invited, but you're gonna be annoying too.
I'm gonna actually try to stay quiet, and I just looked up on Amazon if I can make this dream a reality, but it's too expensive, so I won't. I was trying to find just the what's his face? The actor.
Rob Lowe?
Yeah, I was
the
trying to
NFL
find the Rob
hat?
Lowe NFL hat on Amazon, but I couldn't
Yeah.
find it for less than $34.
Rob Lowe, just a fan of the NFL.
I was going to show up in that.
Yeah, that's a hilarious. That's one of. It was actually my buddy in college. I think he had it as his background on his phone.
Dude,
It's so
unbelievably.
funny.
Just in the stands with
With
an
an
NFL hat.
You know how hard it is to get your hands on one of those?
Costs at least $34.
It's why? I didn't even know they made them. That's
They
how
basically
funny it
don't.
is.
This
Yeah.
one isn't even the one he had.
It's probably not even officially NFL licensed.
One of the games that I have to note is Eagles at Commanders. The Commanders actually played pretty well against the Eagles. They ended their win streak to start last season. The Eagles are coming off a dominant primetime win, which is also itself coming off an inexcusable road loss, but to the Jets, which is all coming off a slow start to the season. They played their best game yesterday, and it looks like their new coordinators on both sides are starting to gel, and the ship's being rightened. But it's something to look out for to see how they show up to this one.
Is A.J. Brown a top 3 wide receiver?
It's kind of interchangeable a little bit, but yeah.
It's Tyreek, Kupp, Brown, Chase, J. Jeff, top 5?
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
it's depending on...
Diggs is like kind of up there sometimes.
I think I'd put Diggs lower than those 5, though.
I probably would too. But on his day,
Capable of top 5 performances, but on the whole, I would put him less than.
I think I would too.
Like, he used to be like Devontae Adams, but I mean, honestly, he still might be just with... we haven't seen him with a good quarterback in a little bit.
Yeah, true.
But, yeah. That's a good one.
Tyreek's like on another level though. Tyreek's
yeah.
one like Tyreek. They were talking about it on the Bill Simmons podcast in terms of like, holy shit, this guy's incredible. Rankings, it was like Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and then Tyreek.
He's just like a physical phenomenon.
He looks like he's gonna score every play.
He should have had a big touchdown yesterday. It was actually a game-changing play.
The fumble thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Not fumble.
The drop,
weird bobble
weird
drop.
Yeah, you don't want to say he lost in the game. It did change the game though. Like if he catches that and turns that into a touchdown, it changes the whole complexion of the game.
Totally.
I had one more game here just because it's like a battle of awful teams. Vikings Packers. It's gonna be kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm glad that both those teams are. The Brett Favre Bowl is between terrible teams this year.
Wow, I never thought of that to call it that. That's really funny.
Thank you. I have also in my second game one terrible team, but it's Chiefs at Broncos, just because Patrick Mahomes has never lost to the Broncos, so I'm going to be rooting for that to continue for as long as possible.
Forever. For his whole career.
For 40-0.
I have a weird... The Broncos are such a weird team. They're such a strange team.
Well, that's the other side, is they're like teetering on an inflection point where they might just blow this whole thing up.
They've been like quiet quitting.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Just releasing guys, trying to trade people.
They played the Chiefs okay last time though. So, it's 19-8.
Yeah. No,
Held
that was a terrible game.
Awful. Well, truly awful. But it'll be interesting, like, you know, like Washington plays the Eagles well. Like maybe the Broncos just play the Chiefs well this year.
Maybe.
So, it may not be a blowout.
I just want the winning streak to keep going.
Yeah. Me too. You want to go into awards?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll start it off because you started off on the others.
Yeah.
All right. So, my first one is This Math Ain't Mathing Award.
Okay. So this is something that I want to say is like just not adding up, but it's obviously got to be a little more than that.
It is a little bit more than that. This one is probably the one that I said was my scale of 1 to 10 is what I say, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the 7.
Okay. Is this?
It has to do with numbers. Also, that's where the math comes in. High numbers.
I don't know.
It's Deshaun Watson.
Oh.
But it's not just his contract. It's what happened in yesterday's game. That he threw 5 passes. One was an interception. Another one should have been an interception that was overturned or could have been an interception. Then he gets pulled out because they thought he had a concussion. Then he clears concussion protocol. Then they don't put him back in. And they leave in P.J. Walker. And after the game, it's because they were trying to protect him because his shoulder isn't healthy enough to play. But then why did he practice and play? And why is he so bad? So not only is that story not adding up, that he was effectively benched, but also the biggest investment in a player in NFL history is not paying off. So his play isn't adding up to his contract. So there was double entendre a little bit.
I have no reservations about saying that I am rooting against Deshaun Watson. So I'm enjoying the fact that he's been terrible.
I am rooting against him because he's pretty much confirmed bad guy.
Yeah.
But I have a weird soft spot for the Browns. I think
because they're from your city.
The land.
Yeah.
I have been there. Therefore, it is my city. Very nice city, actually. Big fan of the land. Would go back.
Can't stop talking about it.
Would recommend to a friend. Haven't stopped raving about it ever since. But I do have a soft spot for them because they've been so awful for a while. So I kind of root for the underdog teams to come back and win a little bit sometimes. And their defense is so good. Myles Garrett probably going to win Depoy.
I think so.
Deservedly so. He's been unbelievable.
Yeah. Took over that game.
Which also, though, I really don't want to go down this too far, but the Browns defense shuts down all these amazing offenses, and then they give up 38 points to the Colts with Gardner Minshew?
It's Minshew mania.
What the hell is that about? There's literally no explanation for that.
That game was drunk from
He had
kickoff.
4 turnovers.
Yeah.
And they still put up 38 points. I saw Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss both had 18 carries. What a weird game.
Yeah, that plays out like that once in 1,000 tries.
Yeah, it's such a strange game. But yeah, like I said, I really didn't. That was not the point of anything. So,
I like the award though.
yeah.
All right, so my first award is the Zach Wilson Pro Day Throw Video Award.
So this is.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, it was one throw
Rolling to his left.
Yeah.
Throw deep to the right.
An excellent throw, but it created an insane amount of hype. So it's one play that's created an insane amount of hype for a player. Is it? No.
It hits close to home.
It's
for
the
you and
Odell
Rue.
catch?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
no.
okay. I thought you were going deep.
No.
Okay, hits close to home. Okay, hits close to home.
I think hits close to home. It's not a Giants thing though.
Okay, one play that hits close to home. Not
It
a
is
Giants
football.
thing, but it is football. What is it?
It's that video of Calvin Ridley making a quick cut in Jags practice.
Man, did he look good. He looked so good, and then he reaffirmed my faith in him. Week 1, he looked amazing. Also, I didn't get him in a single league.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, cool.
That's
All
why
right,
it
so I was
doesn't hit
wrong
that
on
close.
No, I was wrong on the hit close to home thing then.
I had all
But
the hype about him.
Yeah, I knew you and Rue did. Rue got him in every league.
I wanted him in every league. Didn't get him in a single one.
All right, so you avoided stepping on a school of mines.
Yeah. Geez, what do you have? 1 fantasy point? 1 catch this week?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But that one video of him making a lightning fast cut led to all this hype and everyone drafting him in the 3rd round of their fantasy leagues.
It was literally that one cut. He looked so explosive. It was fastest man alive.
Yeah.
Him and Tyreek Hill
Yep.
and Jalen Hyatt. 3
1,
fastest
2,
men
and
alive.
with Bolt up there.
That was it hit close to home based on my anointing him the sleeper pick of the season, but I didn't end up getting him, so yeah. I still think he's probably a decent buy low in fantasy though. You could probably get him for like nothing.
In Dynasty, I agree too, yeah.
Oh yeah. Anything else?
Well, you got your second award.
No, I meant on your award.
No.
Okay. So this is the one, bad name, but you'll like the award. So it's the Oh Brother, This Guy Stinks award.
Is this going to Jordan Love?
No.
Damn.
You'll enjoy talking about it. You won't enjoy. It's not a Packers thing.
Okay. Oh boy, this guy stinks. Is this going to Lincoln Riley?
Right idea. It's a coach. Just lost a game to your favorite team.
Oh, it's Josh McDaniels.
It is Josh
yeah.
McDaniels. God, man, that guy can't do anything right.
He's actually somehow worse as a coach than he was for the Broncos.
Yeah, he's
After a decade in New England in between.
Raiders fans are begging for this guy to be fired. He is awful.
By all accounts, seems like an asshole too.
Even the decision to start Brian Hoyer was questionable. The guy, what is he, 0 for his last 14 starts?
Something like that, yeah.
It's proven track record of being bad.
Yeah.
I get keeping him on your roster. I do. Fine. He's got experience. That's all you can say for him.
It is. It's literally all you can say for him.
But I will say Michael Mayer seems like a good tight end. I think he's going to be good.
I think he'll be the guy.
I think he's going to be good. They've been ramping him up over now he's playing over Austin Hooper and he's getting like 100% of the snaps. If you're looking for tight end help in fantasy, sleeper.
I even think Devontae is going to be better in fantasy going forward.
Well, when Jimmy G's back, anything's better than Hoyer. But
Yeah.
yeah, this guy stinks though. They got to fire him immediately.
I'm sure if they have the funds to, I'm sure they will right after the season.
Is that like what? Is he broke, Mark Davis?
I think I don't really know anymore, but at one time I think like all of his net worth was in the Raiders.
Okay, because
So cash, not super wealthy. But now that they're in Vegas, that could totally not be the case anymore.
Okay, but that was the second time today I've heard that they don't have the money to fire him. So I had to ask.
That was more of a Gruden thing, I think, anyway.
Okay.
My second award is the Lucas Graham Award.
Good artist. Had a few really good songs. 7 years.
That's the key to this puzzle.
7 years. Okay. 7 years.
Good song.
7 years.
You've actually guessed this award already. You just don't know it.
I guessed it tonight?
Yes.
I don't even remember what I guessed.
It wasn't a guess, though. It was a statement.
Was it in the awards section?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to be so mad when I don't get it now. I have no idea. What is it?
The last time that Brian Hoyer
won
won a game
No.
was 2016 as the Bears backup.
Damn. That is a good one. Damn it. I wasn't getting that.
I tried my hardest to keep a straight face when you were mentioning
How
Hoyer
long
before.
it's been? You did a good job. Good poker
Tried
face.
to pretend like I didn't know exactly when the last time he won a game was.
You played it off well. Do you know how many games it's been, though?
I don't.
Okay. Well, good award.
Thank you. And I do have one more that I...
Oh, yeah, your bonus award?
Yeah, I got a bonus award because I just wanted to talk about this at some point. I have an excuse to talk about it.
Okay.
So this one is the Announcer NIL Award. And you probably wouldn't get it if you didn't have the sound on for this game on Saturday.
I didn't have the sound on for this game on Saturday.
So this one is going to Gus Johnson
Okay.
because he decided to make up a new nickname, and every single time that Marvin Harrison Jr. caught a pass, Maserati Marv, to the point where it had people speculating whether Gus Johnson was being paid by Maserati to just keep saying this nickname.
Could have been.
And like it was trending on Twitter and like all different kinds of memes. Like, you know the one where it's like someone's screenshot of their text message is like anxiety, you're not good enough, like depression, you're gonna fail. And the last one is just
Maserati
Gus
Marv.
Johnson, Maserati Marv.
That's funny.
So good. Shout out Gus.
Yeah. I think, I got to start keeping track of what I say on the pod and what I say to you off record. But I said 90% of Adam's thoughts are filtered through Gus Johnson's voice.
It's kind of true, yeah.
You ready to move on to the bold prediction of the year?
Of the week.
Thank you.
I didn't miss it that time.
No, that was important. If you had, I would have never set you up again. Which also, before we get on to that, as it stands, Niners 0, Vikings 10.
What, second quarter?
Second quarter's about to end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Very bad for my fantasy chances. Moving on.
Okay.
Your bold prediction.
My bold prediction of the year, of the week, is that this is going to be the last game that Brandon Staley coaches for the San Diego Los Angelians.
This upcoming game
Yes,
against the Bears?
Against the Bears on Sunday Night Football.
You think the Bears are going to upset them?
Not necessarily, but I think this is it's going to be another disappointing performance from the Chargers.
I mean, Brandon Staley should have been out of a job 8 months ago.
100%.
So this is talking actively bad, actively holding your team back. Brandon Staley's public enemy number one, other than Josh McDaniels. It's like Josh McDaniels and Brandon Staley, then like Desmond Ritter.
Some say Brandon Staley has been public enemy since PE was gym.
Eminem would say that.
Yes.
In Berserk specifically. I just listened to that song.
Really good.
Yeah. Okay. I hope so. Do you think? Yeah, they must.
I think with a loss he's gone, and likely even with like a 3-point win he's probably gone.
Okay. I hope so. I love Justin Herbert. I think he's amazing.
I do too.
I don't like. It feels like people pile on him. I don't know why.
Just because they don't win.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I don't know. People love to not like him, and he seems by all accounts, like a really nice guy and like an amazing football player who just like minds his own business and doesn't bother anybody. He's given me no reason to dislike him at any point in time. Even his funny haircut his rookie year.
Yeah.
Like, he's like a very handsome guy, made himself ugly, makes you more likable.
100%. Yeah, he seems like a reserved but very chill guy.
Yeah. My bold prediction of the year of the week is that the Rams are going to upset the Cowboys this week.
Ooh, I like that. Where's the game?
It is at Jerry World.
Wow, that would be hysterical.
Yeah. I like the Rams offense. They Cooper Kupp got shut down this last game, but Puka still managed to break out as he does. And honestly, they made it work with the two running backs. I know they lost and they didn't look amazing, but I just think the Rams are pretty good, and the Cowboys defense with all their injuries just hasn't been as great. It seems like they could be poised for an upset coming off a bye.
Dude, we said it before the season, and everybody doubted us. Like, Stafford and Sean McVay, like, the Rams are going to be competitive in most games they play.
Yeah, and you were much more on that than I was, but so to your credit.
But on it as a podcast.
Yes. That could be our first award claimed as a podcast.
Well, it could be the first award. Obviously, we have multiple trophies from Chelsea.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so, again, kind of just a gut feeling, and also hate the Cowboys, so I'd like to see them lose.
Me too. I don't hate them. I'd like to see them lose that game, though.
Yeah. All right.
Good program.
Episode. All right, time to get to where you can find us. I'm going to do it the same way I did last episode. So you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. You can find us on social media on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. X, now formerly Twitter, Facebook. I think that's all the medias. Yeah, I don't think I missed any there. Then, and YouTube. And we've got still our big giveaway up, the Jason Dominguez autographed mini helmet. To enter, check the details on our Instagram, but most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will be giving or announcing the winner on our 30th episode, and then we will post it on our Instagram story. But yeah, so make sure you enter for your chance to win a Jason Dominguez autographed mini helmet.
Sweet. Thank you, Tom. Shout out producer Rue. Have a nice golf trip. Shout out and thank you, Mikey Caps. This has been episode 27 of the Breaks Down podcast. 528 Breaks Down. Shout out us Premier League Summer Series champions.
See you next week.